Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Well, Jim, it's another Friday, and it's always good to be on the show.
You sharpened up your pencils and sent out another news release today. What's in it?
Well, it's a progress report on our Stage 1 and 2, which is going well. We have a lot of pregnant solution. It's 500 liters that has been developed so far, and that increases as we speak. So we're real happy with the progress that's going on. But there's a few things I want to talk about. If you look at the attachments to this podcast, you'll see there's an article on Apple and their progress in basically becoming a self-contained company that doesn't need mining material anymore. And it's an interesting article. There's another article in there by Jim Kramer on shorting of the Tesla shares, which has been going on for, a decade now. And and that's an interesting read because that's what's happening on the Canadian markets in a worse scale than the U.S. markets. The U.S. have at least an uptick rule where you can't short stocks down more than 10% a day. In Canada, there is no uptick rule, there is no short rule, and the creditors can short stocks down as much as they want. And there doesn't seem to be any regulation in how they go about doing that. As you probably noticed on our stock, you'll see there's a lot of crosses, usually depicting a downtick at the end of the day. And I question, coming out of the same house, whether there's any real change of ownership in that. But that's up to Reaugh to decipher. But that's what we're up against. But this release, and I did mention in that release that we had a lot of interest from battery manufacturers and EV manufacturers that are doing due diligence on us. Now, their timelines may not jive with ours, but we have a commercial opportunity here that people are not seeing. And, I'll give you an example. I was reading about a spark plug company in Japan who's really looking at getting into the battery business as heavily as they can because spark plugs are going to become obsolete here sometime in the future. So that's nothing you can't build your plan on that, something like the Polaroid. Yeah. And everything's just working for us. Markets are not terrific. And I used to write a letter that was called The Fundamentals of the Commodity Market, the metal commodity market, and I wrote that from 2008 till the first early in 2012. I stopped writing that. I had a big following in it, and I stopped writing it because fundamentals don't work anymore. Good example is you see the stockpiles are sliding on all your major commodities like copper and zinc, especially zinc is at the lowest levels. It's 5 years ago, there was 800 million tons, or 800,000 tons. In the LME, today there's less than 70,000 tons in the LME. So, and the price isn't going anywhere. And same with copper, nickel, all of them. The stockpiles are going down, which means that there's a good potential shortage. And but it's not reflected in the price of the metals. They seem to tag right along with it like, we only got 100,000 tons of stockpile that could be eaten up in a half a day, and the price drops a nickel. It doesn't make sense. So I just wanted to point those things out. That's a reflection on what I see that doing is when the commodities are getting hammered, everybody's involved in manufacturing or whatever, the prices of other shares that are especially in the commodity markets begin to fall, and for no rational reason. And if you read the Jim Kramer report on Tesla, you'll see that there's, leagues of predators out there who hire stories, who speak a little bit of truth about something and a whole lot of BS about the other parts of it. And that's what people are reading all the time. But that's a negative, but I think that it should be pointed out, and anytime I see an article on it, I put it out there because I started reporting on this 6 years ago, and I may as well have been talking to the wall, but the predator trading is hurting the market. John Kaiser says that 50% of the venture exchange companies are underwater, have big debt, and no chance of financing this year alone. So, that's not a good picture for most of these companies. Some of them won't survive. But meantime, we're coming up with good results. ABBA all the way through on a very rapid timeline, and I expect that. I really expect that we may get our patents next week. The patent number has been approved, so it's not like it's a real critical thing, but it's nice to have the patent number. That you can quote to somebody, or they can Google it and read all about our patents. And we're protected in 152 countries. So to say that we're in a good mood, we definitely are. Our own financing is going very slow, but it's coming through. And we are, talking to other people about the financing. And, of course, we'd really like to have a big partner out there, somebody who recognizes a commercial opportunity, that this could be a multi-billion-dollar business just like the making of batteries are right now, and that they could be a part of this. They just have to come in with the financial clout. We come in with the technology, and we get a nice joint venture going, and we start to spread out through the, I'd like to say going viral, but it takes longer than that. But you got to remember that when you're looking at our opportunity, it's another mining opportunity, except that the resource keeps increasing, and whereas mining is a depleting resource, and you don't have the heavy costs of going into production in the billions of dollars or the hundreds of millions, our costs will be significantly lower. There's no exploration cost, very little on the EPA side of it environmentally. So, it's a really good field to be in. And not only that, but you can calculate what your resources are by just looking at the kilowatt hours. And that'll tell you what the material is in the battery. And so, everything's very, very positive. Like I say, I'm expecting, if not next week, early the following week, the final permit issue, or the patent number issue, and that's all good for the company. So I think it's going to be a good podcast this week, and there's some good material there that you can click onto that shows you where the market's going and what people are thinking about the overall markets and where we fit into it.
Larry, for people who are new to American Manganese, what are you all about?
We're a mining company, a critical metals mining company. We have some properties that have critical metals on them, especially our manganese property in the U.S. We haven't done a lot with it, but we do have a process that works on 2 to 3% grades, and this is what was the cornerstone of our battery recycling, which is another. I like to look at it as a mining prospect. Instead of mining ores, we're mining batteries, and we're cleaning up the environment, creating a circular economy. And we're on our pilot plant right now, so it hasn't been that long. It took 13 months to get the approval of the patent, which is a record. And we are traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture under the symbol AMY. We're traded in the U.S. under the symbol AMYZF. We're traded in Frankfurt under the symbol 2AM, and you can go and visit our website, and at AmericanManganeseInc.com, you'll get all the information and the business plan and everything off of that website. You can contact the company or contact me at LREAUGH@amymn.com, or you can phone the office here at 778-574-4444.
Larry, thanks a lot for the update.
You're welcome.
I've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Our conversation took place on March 8th. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.